Welcome, Impactful Parents. It's time for the Impactful Parenting Podcast, where I give you parenting tips and resources to make you a more impactful parent to your school-age child. I am your host, Kristina Campos. Welcome, Impactful Parents. Today we're going to talk about how to plan for the future when you have a special needs child. Hello, my name is Kristina Campos. I'm founder of The Impactful Parent, and I help parents of school-age children turn their chaos into connection with their adolescent. I offer parent education videos every week, online courses, and coaching. And if that wasn't enough, I bring experts in on other fields onto the Impactful Parent stage to teach you even more. And today I have a returning special guest. His name is Jorge Loyo. And Jorge is a financial planner who helps families prepare for their future, whether they have special needs child or not. He is an amazing resource for your family so that you could just be ready for your future no matter what happens. And Jorge has a special program that he loves to promote. It's his MAP. It's a money action plan. And today we get to learn about his MAP for special needs parents and how we can prepare for that future. Thank you for being here, Jorge.
Thank you, Kristina. Happy to be back.
This is a very tough subject, and I know it's very niche. Not everybody has a special needs child, but I want to start with special needs child. What kind of child are you talking about?
Any child that has that is neurodiverse, that has any special needs, whether they're in the spectrum, or any kid that might need assistance in the future potentially might not be entirely capable of taking care of themselves.
More important than ever before, that if you have somebody that's so dependent upon you, what will they do when you're gone? Or what will they do if you can't take care of them? So this is such an important video for the audience today. I can't wait to get started. You have a free PDF that you're going to be giving the Impactful Parent audience. First of all, thank you so much for that. That's going just to highlight some of the main points that we'll be talking about in today's episode. And that free PDF will be put inside the Impactful Parent app right next to this episode. So go and check that out, parents. You can get to the free app by just going to your app store and downloading it. It's a free app, so go ahead and download it, and then you can get this free PDF from Jorge. Or you can go to theimpactfulparent.com and also download the app from there. But let's get started with what are some of the things that parents just need to look out for?
Well, I think that number one, they should be looking into having maybe a special needs trust. A trust, a lot of people associate having a trust with, I have a lot of assets and I need to pass them on to the next generation. But that's not always the case. A special needs trust can be a very valuable tool when you have a child with special needs. Because if, say, for example, you have a lot of assets and you have your child as the direct beneficiary of these assets, sometimes what it can happen is that can lead, if the child has a lot of assets to their name, that can potentially disqualify them from getting some resources and benefits from government plans. So special needs trust can be a great tool in planning for these type of situations. That's one of the things that I would begin with researching.
Oh my goodness. Didn't even think of that. This is why I'm so glad that you're here today, because what if I have more assets and then they get passed down and they can't get help? Oh my goodness. So I'm glad that you're here. If we want to look into a trust, we would go to a financial advisor such as yourself, correct?
Yep, absolutely. Okay. And this is, especially needs trust, definitely it's an attorney might be better suited. Estate planning attorney is definitely a good resource for you to seek out help for. But this is one of the items that, especially if you're in this situation, you should definitely consider.
All right. And what's something else that we need to keep our eye out for?
Will. A lot of adults, whether your child is special needs or not, we need to have a will. And the reason why is these are instructions. If you don't have instructions in writing, God forbid something happens to us as parents, then what happens? Who makes the decisions? That could potentially lead to conflict with the family. We need to identify who's going to take care of my kid, who's going to take care of the money. In our families, we normally have somebody who's really great with money, somebody who's really great and would be amazing at raising our kids. They tend not to be the same individual. So having a will is a very, very important tool, especially when we have a special needs type of planning.
And with a will, I know a lot of people are just so, I don't know, it's not, how do I say scared? That might not be the right word, but just reluctant to make a will. I don't know if that's because it just seems so morbid or they're just think it's so expensive that it's out of their budget. But is it really expensive?
No, it doesn't have to be. And I do get it every now and then. I do get parents. Oh, that's like calling death. No, it's not. It's an essential tool for financial planning. And the thing is that if you don't leave those things in writing, then a judge might decide what happens. So either you decide or somebody else decides. So morbid or not, what do you want the decision to be? Do you want to have the choice, or do you want to hand it off to who knows who? So does it have to be expensive? No. There are plans, obviously, you seek out legal advice, but there are some programs locally. Some law firms can provide that. There's some city and state resources that can provide that resource. You can definitely walk into an attorney. There are prepaid legal plans that allow you at a fraction of a cost to also get access to get your will done. So no, short answer, it doesn't have to be expensive, but it's definitely one of those very important planning tools that is sometimes overlooked.
And what else do you have on this list?
Guardianship. I said it just a second ago. So who's gonna take care of my child? If I'm not here, one thing is who can take care of my money. Another thing is if I'm not here to take care of my special needs child, then who's gonna care for them all the way up to adulthood? In choosing guardianship is one of those sometimes very difficult decisions because you need to analyze who that person will be, who can handle that type of commitment, who has a bond with your children. Because it doesn't matter if you think somebody would be great if there's not a pre-established bond with your child, it may not be a good fit, or they may not be ready to commit to having that responsibility. So who do you know that has the patience? Every child is different, every situation is different, but guardianship is one of those areas where it should be considered in these situations, and not just a name because, oh, this person is super nice and they love him. But that's not enough. Sometimes love is not enough. They need to be, you need to have that conversation with them, have them be ready to commit, have the patience, and have a bond with the child. So guardianship is definitely one of those tools that one of those items that should definitely be looked into.
Do you know where, if we have questions about who the parameters or who should be a guardian, like, for example, maybe they have a younger sibling that you consider very responsible, but they're under the age of 18, could you, those kinds of things, like, can I still put that younger sibling as the guardian? Where can we find out the rules and parameters to this kind of big decision?
Great question. And again, this on the legal matter, this is more of a question to an attorney. But what I would recommend is if somebody's going to have access to care for a minor, it should not be a minor. Regardless of how responsible they are, we perceive them to be. If they're also a minor, it's a lot of responsibility to put on somebody at that early stage of their life. I would, when possible, seek the help of an adult. And then if the sibling, the younger sibling, becomes an adult and has that patience, obviously has that bond, and is willing to take on that commitment and possibly sacrificing a lot of the things that he or she wants to do in life, then that's a different topic. But that's also something that can be put in writing where no will. So all these things kind of come together. looked at each of these points by themselves, they may or may not make sense, but as a strategy put together, it's where the whole puzzle kind of comes together.
And what's the next thing on that list for our strategy?
So it's guardian, trustee, who's going to handle the money. And this is one of those things that it needs to also be looked into. Who's the person who's going to be responsible for managing the special needs trust? Who's going to be, if you're no longer here, who's going to be responsible, including the money? Will it be a family member? Can it be a friend? Does it have to be, or can it be an independent professional trustee, a bank, a lawyer? These are questions that we got to ask ourselves because every family is different. But this, as we are drafting and planning our strategy for the future in the event that we're not here, when we talk to an attorney for these types of situations, we need to review who can be the right trustee. Sometimes he's not a family member. Sometimes it's better to have a third party professional trustee handle that situation of the strategy. It depends. Everybody's different, but naming a trustee is one of those items that it's important to look into.
Already, this is so much to think about, but I'm sure we're not done.
Letter of intent.
Now, what is a letter of intent?
So this is not so much a legal document, but it's more like a letter, a routine. Some children with neurodiverse special needs, they have everyday needs that should be met. And in some cases, we have to be very meticulous when it comes to how they get done, at what time they get done, in which way they get done. And if we don't wake up one day, then who's going to pick up on those responsibilities if you're the only one that knows exactly how it should be done for things to run smoothly? So if the minor's routine is important, we need to write it down. So what is a letter of intent? The letter of intent is basically your user's manual, your daily, weekly, monthly schedules. What things your child likes and dislikes. Helpful resources. If this happens, call this person. If that happens, call that person. Call this doctor. The list of medicines, the doses, the schedules, and also important, name of the people that you don't want your child to be around or the activities that they should avoid. You should write that down as well. So the letter of intent is sometimes overlooked, but I think it's a very powerful tool, especially if you're no longer here, to be able to give somebody a head start on how to not break that schedule, that routine that can make life a little bit less comfortable for the minor.
And once we write that letter, and I'm assuming we can just go onto a computer and write stuff down, where does it go from there? Is it just we tell somebody and it hides, or do we have to throw that into the will also?
So I highly recommend that all that lives together. You can draft that letter, sign it, notarize it, and then have it together with your will. So you have the will with instructions, but this is just like I said, the user manual, just a little extra instructions to be able to help somebody.
So important when we have children, whether they're minors or not, and if we're taking care of them and they're that dependent upon us, so important to have. What else is on our list?
Well, when they become adults, what if they can be independent? What if we need to start thinking about planning their independence? So when a minor gets to about the age of 14, parents should start considering and thinking about where they're going to go. Are they going to live by themselves? Can they live by themselves? Should they live in a group home? Are they staying at home? These things are definitely overlooked in a lot of the cases. And so planning for their independence, are they capable or not, and where they should be and shouldn't be, those are things that they should be looking into for sure.
It's so much. There's so much going on. I'm so glad you're here to break this down for us. And again, audience, all this will be in Jorge's free PDF so that we don't need to rush and write this down. We'll be able to print this out, which I'm so grateful for. What else is on this list?
We got to plan for their employment, right? If they're able to work, we need to make sure that we help them with that. But the next thing is maybe utilizing an ABLE account, ABLE
And what's
account,
that?
an ABLE account is Achieving a Better Life Experience account, and these type of accounts are investment accounts. They're savings account, but for qualified individuals. And what it does, it has some tax advantages, and it allows the money inside of these accounts to be used for things like living expenses and health and well-being and housing. And so it's just a type of account with tax advantages to be able to use the funds in there for things that can benefit the child.
And where do we go to create that?
So definitely you need to reach out to somebody like myself, an investment advisor. There's different broker dealers, different investment firms that can help you establish an ABLE account and give you more information on the benefits and how it's done. But yeah, basically through an investment advisor is that you can get information about an ABLE account.
Perfect. And what else might be on this list?
Well, we're coming to the end of it, but we need to ask for help. We need to get help. And so where do we get help? And this is where it's mind-boggling. There's a lot of resources, but sometimes parents are not presented with everything that's available. So Medicaid, Medicare have certain resources available. The Social Security disability benefits has some available. Life insurance is a intricate part, also part of that strategy. You can reach out to your local special needs advocates. There are experts in special needs in your area. You can just definitely do a quick search of special needs advocates. By your location, you should be able to be presented with resources and local groups that can help you. And in the getting help piece is also, realizing that you're not alone. There are groups. There are other parents that are in the same journey. So you're not alone.
There's lots of other parents in the same journey.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you need to ask for help and look for the help because they're there.
I mean, it's eye-opening to me. I don't have a special needs child, but everything that you mentioned, I'm thinking, I need that for my kid too. I mean, you really do. Yeah. In case God forbid, I were to get into a car accident or just unable to take care of them. These are really, imperatives for special needs parents, but really important just for anybody. And
for
I
anybody.
think that's really great.
Yeah. And the last two things that I would say is that are important is educating our family and hanging out with friends. Those two are important. Educating family because they may not be aware of everything that goes into the experience of raising a neurodiverse child. So we need to educate them and also hanging out with friends. Why I added this in the list is because at the end of the day, we're parents with a tremendous responsibility, especially in these type of situations, but we're still humans. We still need that connection. And sometimes parents that are going through this journey, everything is their child and nothing wrong with that, but they also need that human connection. And so making sure that they schedule time with friends, making sure that they do schedule time for connection, for movies, for friendship, a time for themselves, where they don't just feel like the parent of a special needs child. I think it's also important. So educating family and hanging with friends, it's got to be part of your strategy. That's basically it.
No, it's such a comprehensive strategy. It's amazing. I'm so grateful to have you on today. And honestly, you can be a part of this plan. So parents are out there and they need to ask for questions or just help, setting any of this up. How can they reach you?
They can reach out to me through my website, jorgeloyo.com. And right there, they can schedule a time. No strings attached. I just want to be of value If we're a good fit to work together, amazing. If I can point you in the right direction, fantastic. The idea is that we just provide more value, awareness, and education.
And if a parent were to reach out to you, and this is like, it sounds like a discovery call, is there a fee to that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, because we don't know if we're going to be able to work together anyway. So if I can just point them in the right direction, bring awareness to some things, if I'm a good fit, fantastic. If not, I just hope that I was able to provide some value. And who knows, maybe down the road, somebody might be a good fit, come my way, and that's it. There's absolutely no cost for a phone call.
Parents, Jorge Loyo is an amazing resource for you for all of your financial needs. So go ahead and reach out to him if you have any questions at all. And thank you so much for being here today, Jorge. I hope today's episode brought value to you. And if you want to become a more impactful parent, download the Impactful Parent app. Inside the Impactful Parent app, you're going to find the freebies from Jorge's presentation today. So go and check it out. It's free and full of episodes just like this one. So carry help right in your pocket with tons of parenting resources. Plus, when you download the Impactful Parent app, you're also joining a community of like-minded parents that also want to be the best parent they can for their child. So download the app today, go to your app store and search engine Impactful Parent, and I should pop right on up. And if not, go to theimpactfulparent.com/app. and you can download it there. You got nothing to lose. It's free. So learn how to step up your parenting game and become a more impactful parent. But until next time, you got this. I'm just here to help. Thank you for listening today. Remember to subscribe and share this podcast with a friend. And don't forget, the Impactful Parenting Podcast is an extension of the Impactful Parent community. Go to the Impactful Parent website and download the free Impactful Parent app so you don't miss a parenting tip that can help you and your family. Thanks for listening today. So go to theimpactfulparent.com and see you next episode.